Okay, thanks, Dr. Anton. And
Thank you very much.
we will move to the next one, paper ID 376. Dr. Farina Tariq, a master's data science student at the National University of Science and Technology, Pakistan. She has been engaged in research related to the use of artificial intelligence in the field of healthcare. A KG-based framework for cancer data has been proposed by her research team, which is headquartered at the Machine Learning Lab of the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, Pakistan. Her speech title is Schema-Based Knowledge Graph for Clinical Knowledge Representation from Structured and Unstructured Oncology. Dr. Farina?
Thank you so much, Jenny. Let me share my screen first. Okay, I am Farina Tariq along with my team Saad Ahmed Khan and Dr. Mohammad Moazzam Faraz from National University of Science and Technology. Here to present the research work being titled by Schema-Based Knowledge Graph for Clinical Knowledge Representation from Structured and Unstructured Patient Data. Here is the table of content. Let me start it from the introduction. Cancer has become the second leading cause of death due to its increased fertility rate. The uncontrollable growth of cell in a human body is known as cancer. At the primary stage, the tumor is removed through the surgery, and later on the remaining tumor is subjected to the chemotherapy. So this whole process of treatment is not only costly and expensive, but it also causes unfavorable emotional, physical, and financial effect to the community, individual, and family. So there is a need of comprehensive research to build the clinical decision support system. The foundation of such research lie upon the availability of data in form of electronic health record, but it has its own data challenges as it is consisted of both structured and unstructured clinical data. So knowledge graphs as a rapidly developing information representation tool could facilitate in this term. Here is some previous related work. Semi-automatic construction approach of knowledge graph from EHR have been practiced, but it is only consisted of bio-directed knowledge graph. Similarly, there is also evidence of same study from the biomedical literature of breast cancer, but it is found that the literature is focused upon conventional suggestions rather than the clinical information. Similarly, tool-based approach has been adopted to build the knowledge graph from medical data. But these tools utilize default mapping, and now these tools are no longer workable. In case of extraction of information from unstructured nodes, automatic technique of cancer extraction, cancer phenotype extraction has been performed, but it is found that they have utilized the non-comprehensive ontology, and similarly there is evidence of inconsistent human annotation. So all the existing studies are deficient in terms of uniform knowledge representation, unidirected information, domain-related semantic linkage, and the low clinical information context. In the light of this, we have proposed a schema-based knowledge graph developing method, which include the new semantic and clinical data. Similarly, it would offer a standard medical understanding and data model for the content of EHRs. Here is the overall view of a proposed framework. Let me start it from the step one. In step one, we have collected the data, which is consisted of around 8 different type of cancer. It contains both structured information and also the unstructured information, giving the data about the lab test, diagnosis, demographic, medication, etc. Here is the table represent the statistical count of cancer patient for each cancer. In next step, for the construction of knowledge graph schema has been proposed, which is firstly the domain and the scope of schema has been identified, which is to present the content of EHRs. So the already existing resources have been utilized to define the classes, its properties, and the semantic relation between them. And later on, the quality of the schema has been assessed, and after the validation of schema, it is presented as a final. In next step, from the unstructured clinical notes, a phenotype extraction has been performed. For this purpose, NCIT ontology has been augmented with the information of phenotype, and then this ontology has been utilized in Inception tool for the data annotation purpose, and later on NER model has been trained. In this way, the extracted phenotype has been converted into CSV files. In next step, entity for the knowledge graph has been selected. So the cultivated knowledge graph would be consisted of patient profile, disease information, demographic information of a patient, lab test, the phenotype of cancer, vital measurement of patient, the social history of a patient, and the administrative treatment. In the last step, all the extracted information have been stored in the Neo4j database. And here the nodes and relationships have been defined according to the proposed schema. Later on, the constructed knowledge graph have been visualized in the browser of Neo4j, and cipher-based queries has been applied in order to fetch out the information of interest. So here is the results of our proposed study. The NER model has shown the 75% accuracy with the precision of 0.4 and the recall of 0.4. Here is the information regarding the cultivated knowledge graph. It is consisted of almost 0.3 million nodes with 7.6 million relationships. The following table provides the data profiling of the cultivated knowledge graph. The cultivated knowledge graph allows the domain experts and the layman in order to perform the query of their interest and fetch out the information of theirs. For example, in this slide, we have presented one example of such query. We have performed a cipher query to fetch out the information regarding the chemo plan is discontinued. It has given us around 25 chemotherapy plans which have been failed in within the patient. So it has presented us in term of knowledge, in term of graph, which is more appropriate to understand. So in order to conclude the things, there is a multitude of clinical information present in electronic health record, but there is low usage of such clinical information. So knowledge graph, which is an innovative method for the usage of these HERs, we have proposed KG-based pipeline to incorporate both the structured and unstructured clinical data. So the learned patient representation could be utilized in oncology research in the direction of semantic. In future, we would apply the graph pattern mining method in order to build the interactive knowledge analysis. Similarly, these KG-based learned embeddings would be utilized for the edge-link prediction in the area of chemotherapy. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Are there any questions for Dr. Farina?